Afternoon Talk on SAFM.
5 minutes after 2 o'clock. Good afternoon and welcome to the show. My name is Kanye Makobane and we're together up until 4 o'clock. Let me just tell you what's coming up in the show this afternoon. In a moment or two, in our big question today, we're going to be talking about how do you go about suing for servers. And my guest in the studio is Robin Willer. He's an entrepreneur, a consumer activist, an international speaker and author of Being Yourself for a Living. Now, Robin has brought 3 lovely, I wouldn't say quite pocket size, but, portable books.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Robin.
Hi, Kanye.
Wonderful to have you in the studio. Now, you have written these 3 books, the first one entitled Insights, the second one Deeper Insights, and the latest one Further Insights, Being Yourself for a Living.
That's right.
Let's talk about the authenticity of being yourself.
Yeah, I think it's coming into fashion in the world. Business was based on a mechanical model of work, an industrial model where people had to give up who they are to fit into the jobs that already existed. And it was very much about managing yourself to fit into the system so that you could be productive. But we're now well into the second decade of the 21st century, and that's really a human era of business now, where the value that you bring to business is through your human nature, through your human qualities,
right?
Whether it's relationships, selling, leading, innovating. And people need to bring who they are to what they do now. You need to align who you are with what you do so that your personal being who you are, being what you're good at, your talents, but also your growth, who you become, who you self-actualize into, needs to be aligned with your job so that you can, number one, do it well and enjoy it, and number 2, handle the stress, because these days things are more crazy than ever.
Wonderful. Robin, before we continue with you, I just want to let our listeners know that we will be also talking about the latest stats on road accidents. Now, you might have seen headlines on the road saying that the road death plan has failed dismally. As you know, over the festive season, we've had no less than 1,200 deaths that have taken place, people dying on our roads over the holiday season. And yesterday we spoke to ER24 spokesperson, and today we're going to be talking about the road traffic management, and Ashraf Ishmael is going to be my guest there. And in our spotlight this afternoon, we're going to be replaying an interview that Ashraf Gada did with Kojo Bafo, who is the editor of Destiny Men. And let me tell you that Natalie Jamanas is also with us, keeping us updated on the game, South Africa versus New Zealand, currently underway in Newlands, Cape Town. I suppose you're also watching very closely on that game, Robin?
I'm not, but I'm interested in those road statistics that you say, because I think that links into service, you know. You know, what I'm doing with this Suing for Service campaign is, as an individual, as an entrepreneur, I'm doing something new and innovative. And that road safety example there is a case in point where what the system and what the existing structure claims to do to support the community, to help us, it doesn't work. It works to some degree, but it's not addressing the problems. It's not bringing solutions. So my idea with the Suing for Service is that in my personal capacity, using my own resources, I'm doing what I can, and the message is really for all of us to do what we can wherever we are. It's not something you leave up to somebody else. And when you start to see how the system is failing us, we need to do new things, and that's the power is in the individual. So
not being passive, but actually being active in actually bringing different corporations to being responsible. You say here that they need to live up to what their brand promises.
Exactly.
Now let's look at the 3 basic objectives of suing for service. Okay, you're talking about let's give a practical example. I can go to a X establishment and I have horrible service, and I feel done in.
Yes.
And I'm talking to the service manager, and I'm not getting anywhere. And I'm escalating the problem, and I'm still not winning. Yes. Tell us, how does your campaign work in a case like mine?
Okay. Well, all of those things that you're talking about, we all know very well.
Yes.
As soon as I hear the word escalate, you might as well swear at me, because it's a corporate lie. It's a euphemism for we'll delay this until you give up.
We've escalated it to the manager.
Yes. So they're immediately admitting incompetence. The manager's going to get back to me. I have to explain that to the manager again. I do this for a living, so now I'm going to have to explain it to the director again. That's if the director gets back to me. I've had all of this myself. These are all tactics that these big companies either employ to keep their customers at arm's length,
right,
or they're just consequences of being too big. But whether there's a legitimate reason or a questionable excuse behind it, it's still not acceptable. So we're all faced with that problem. And what I've seen in the 3 months that I've been doing this is that as a consumer, you assume that something is the way it's presented to you. It takes a lot of wherewithal to look through and to sort of read between the lines. So you get presented by a company with these assumptions that, you can escalate something to customer service. But your experience is quite different to that. So what you have to do is come up with some new way of doing it. And I'm here in the media discussing this because I have on my blog a number of cases of companies that I've escalated to the very highest level. They don't even get back to me. When I confront them further, they put their legal department onto me, which is totally out of keeping with their service ethic.
Right.
And it's also unwarranted. There's nothing threatening to them there. I'm offering a win-win solution where they stop doing this to me as a consumer and to all of my fellow consumers. So what I'm saying to every other consumer is don't come to me. I'm not putting a website up there where you can come and put a complaint and then the bank is going to get their people to look at that complaint. I'm saying stand where you are.
Right.
Empower yourself as an individual, as a free-thinking, entrepreneurial person who can make a difference in their world, and stand for service. Don't worry if you make mistakes. Don't worry if you're also a bit in the wrong. We're all human. Don't worry if you get so angry that you're spitting mad.
And you find yourself losing the plot a
you
bit.
lose it. Because now that's normal. And also the system is designed to exploit that.
Right.
The consumer is stuck. We are actually literally slaves, like slaves used to be in the old days. It's just now tacit. The media manipulates us. We all owe money to the banks. The banks are basically using people to pay off huge profits, get huge profits out of debt that they've created. So there's a whole infrastructural questioning that's going on, and to really see through all of the things that are presented to us and to see the truth behind that and to act in better, intelligent ways, not ways where the same system still brings bad road deaths year after year after year. You need people to be aware on the roads so that we conduct ourselves better, each one of us as an individual. So as a consumer, the message is stand for service wherever you are. Go through those emotional barriers. Don't give up. Don't run away. Don't fight until you get what you want. And just remember that the service provider is also a human being, and they've also you've got to give them room to have their own flaws.
Yes.
But don't compromise on what you really think is the best solution for everybody.
Now let's talk about what suing for service actually does. I mean, I know that we have, for instance, in South Africa, the Consumer Commission.
Yes.
We have all of these statutory bodies that have been set up by government within the arm of the DTI to actually help consumers to lodge complaints. We have ombudsmans, within the banking sector, within the motoring sector that people can go to. How do you work with those type of institutions?
Well, that again comes back to I've had problems with MTN. They're my service provider.
Right.
Okay, and I'm using their brand name on the radio now quite deliberately because I have had such bad service from them. I've been with them since they first launched in the country. I'm an 18, 19-year-old customer with them. Their service is so atrocious, and when I confronted them with this, I wrote to the CEO. He never got back to me. I had to follow up with him and follow up. Eventually, his legal department writes to me and says,
Stop harassing us.
Stop harassing us.
Yes.
Exactly those words.
Yes.
And then I'm quite welcome to sue them and see them in court or to take it up with the commission.
Right.
Now, that looks like they're offering me solutions. Number one, they've done a bad service in the first place. Number two, they've not responded to me and respected me as a human being. And number three, they're daring me to go through those channels, which they know very well that if I have the money and the resources and I spend months preparing a case and I put my business aside for all that time and I eventually see them in court, they will have the best lawyers waiting there to delay it as long as possible. So it's the same with the banking ombudsman. It looks like it's an external body. That's not. Those people think the same way. They've come the same route, and effectively they serve the system. So yes, those options are there. You can take people to court because the Consumer Protection Act is now very rigorous, and all of us have much more consumer power. But it's a bit the same as somebody who's in court for stealing an apple. Technically, they've got recourse to the law.
Right.
But practically the guy with the bigger lawyer with a bigger budget is going to win. And that's why these corporations get away with so much, because they have the infrastructure in place. So as an entrepreneur, I'm not going to the commission. I'm here on the radio and I'm talking about it openly. And I'm saying to MTN, I'm daring them to take up this opportunity and to fix things.
Okay. If MTN is listening, you're more than welcome to give us a call. Let me also open the lines on 0891 104 207, 0891 104 207. We're talking about challenging corporations and also inspiring excellence in service, and also not being afraid to take on those big corporations by feeling that I'm just an individual.
Exactly.
What can I do? But here's Robin saying that, you know what, collectively as civil society, we do have the power, and that it starts with our attitude towards customer service. That's where it really starts. Before you get to preventative measures, or before you get to reactive measures, let's deal with preventative measures so that we don't get to that point. Let me welcome AB from Mitchell's Plain. Good afternoon, AB.
Good afternoon to you, lady, and good afternoon to your guests.
Hi,
good luck
AB.
to him. A point I want to raise, and this is on South Africa, and this is happening on a global scale as well. I'm a consumer, hardly educated.
Yes.
But these kinds of policies that's being shoved down our throats by very powerful people. We in South Africa are suffering the consequences of this as well.
Yes.
Look, for instance, the oil embargo emanating from Iran. You've got FNB now at the present moment telling a certain group they are sponsoring terrorism, the AXA group which I belong to. We did donation for suffering people throughout the globe, be it as may. My point is this, and it's high time. I personally, hardly educated, seen many countries, I encourage trade with whomever it may be. But we know, history now is being so distorted. We in Africa are still suffering today. My point is this, it's high time that we stand up, especially that I just look at the program now on BBC. The indigenous people of America, they are struggling similar to people like in Africa, because these, let's call them what they are, the real tyrants and terrorists and what they are. They don't want to change their policy. The people are suffering because of their policies. My point is this, trade is good, very good, but these people put sanctions on South Africa whomever they wish to, and they establish embassies here in our countries, and they enforce their ideologies on us. It's high time, especially the so-called third world countries, stand up to these super terrorists of the world.
Right,
maybe we can live in a more peaceful and harmonious way, and a more prosperous way. In fact, I think it's
Thank you very much, Eddie, there for your point. Thank you, AB. We've heard your point. Thank you. Thank you very much, AB.
Thanks, AB.
0891 104 207, 0891 104 207 is the number you can use to reach us here in the studio. And I think the point, really, what I'm getting from AB, he's saying that, you know, the big corporations, you know, ultimately they take your money,
yes,
and you don't know which kind of efforts they support and which kind of things that they support. I mean,
sure,
you may bank with this particular institution only to find that they bankrolling, you know,
sure,
certain types of initiatives that
money
you
laundering
as a consumer may not agree with, and
sure,
you may not have a choice, you know, or a say in what ultimately they choose to align their businesses with. So, AB, in a nutshell, hearing that method to your madness there, 0891 104 207, 0891 104 207. Figile in Cape Town, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, fine, thanks. Thank you for the program again, and thank you for inviting the gentleman in your studio. Hey, I've got a very biggest problem here, and a very huge experience with Metro Rail. I've got a case I started back in 2006, on 8 of August 2006. Actually, I was a loyal customer to Metro Rail. I was unlawfully arrested, and I lost my cell phone that was actually stolen by the police, and money was stolen by the police because of Metro Rail Protection Service. And then they said to me when I took my matter to them, and they said they will investigate the matter, but they will come back to me whenever they are done with the investigation. And I made the proposal for the unlawful arrest. Since I was unlawfully arrested because of protection service of Metro Rail. So what happened is that now these guys, they failed to come back to me to explain to me if what they have came up with through their investigation. And then they failed to pick me up, and some false alarms or claims were made about me that I've dropped the case against Metro Rail to 57 Cape Talk, And again, when I tried to take them to court, they had a lawyer from Pretoria, because now the matter was already old. From what I just said, they said the case has already lapsed. I said no, I was continuing to a claim with the Metro Rail, because I had this unlawful arrest, and then these guys, they felt to come to me, and they knew exactly that I'm not aware of my rights, and I'm not aware that no, the case actually lapsed after 3 years.
Okay.
So now I just need advice from the gentleman in the studio. What should I do? Because I took in the matter with the public protector, and nothing's been happening yet. But actually, the public protector is still dealing with the case. And what is on the other side, I was trying to take them to court, but because I didn't have a lawyer, I decided to go back now to the management of the protection service. But they are failing to meet with me, because now they know they owe me a lot of money. But now they just give me a run around, and they don't come back to me because they know that they have to pay me some amount of money.
All right, thank you very much. You've heard Fikile's case.
Yes, Fikile, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't advise you on that. I've got some knowledge of service from my own personal experience. So the deepest level there that I can speak to is you as a person. I completely relate to your frustration there. We're all experiencing this with a handful of service providers at any one time, whether it's the traffic department, the police, the security companies, retailers. So I would suggest there that I can hear, and with AB as well in Cape Town, you've got such deep passion, such frustration that echoes back even through our ancestry, you know. So is to mobilize that and to find your own way to find a solution to this. You know, we've all got our own challenges that we're facing in the world, and we've all got the capacity to find a way that solves that problem and also teaches the world. So I can't solve his problem for him.
Absolutely.
But I can carry on with my problems, and I can in that way encourage him to do that. And just go for it, Fikile. Get it, keep it out there in the media, and keep growing in yourself and becoming a wiser man through that, and keep teaching other people as you go. And then you'll get intrinsic reward as you go, but as time passes, you'll make a very big difference as well.
It's 21 minutes after 2 o'clock. My name is Kanye Makubane, standing in for Ashaf Gada this afternoon. My guest is Robin Willer, and we're talking about suing for service. Now, what was interesting about what Fikile said, you know, he also used that term escalate to say that he had taken it as high as the public protector. He's a man who was wrongfully arrested on the Metro Rail. His cell phone got stolen in the process. He's a little man in the bigger scheme of things. The system is a big, powerful monster that can easily swallow him up. And I think what you're saying is that keep at it.
Yes, definitely.
Keep at it. Don't be intimidated. Don't be, discouraged along the way.
Definitely. And just become aware in yourself, because often that moment where you feel discouraged, just look at that. Why are you discouraged? Are you genuinely discouraged, or is someone trying to discourage you? Is somebody really wanting you to give up? Because if you think about bullies, most of these companies are effectively just big bullies. And if you think about a bully on a playing ground, they're using those fear tactics to get you to succumb to them. And all you need to do is stand your ground, and a little bit of assertion at the right time can shift things. It looks like things are much more powerful than they actually are. But the truth stands, you know. It doesn't matter how much corporate budget you've got to manipulate it. The truth stands. And, you know, you think of Rosa Parks. One lady, all she did, AB talks about not being educated. Again, there's an assumption there that disempowers you. Obviously, if you're educated and you're articulate, you're able to make it further in society more easily. It doesn't mean if you can't speak a language well that you can't. Rosa Parks sat on that bus and she did not move. She didn't even have to speak, and that spoke for her. Every single individual has that power to do what they really believe in a situation where it counts.
0891 104 207 0891 104 207 is the number you can use to reach us here in the studio. You can also send us an SMS on 34701 and each SMS is charged at 2 rands each. Danny in Bloemfontein, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
Very well, thank you, Danny.
Yeah, let me
Danny, please switch off your radio.
Ma'am, I've got a small problem. What actually happened, I'm in the business of doing maintenance work for one of the major cell phone companies. So when Cell C was offered the license, we approached Cell C saying to them, can we design containers for you? They came down to our factory in Bloemfontein. They had an inspection. Then they said, can you design something that doesn't look like those that we are making? We designed one. We took it to Sandton. It was there for at least 18 months. They did all the testing. Afterwards, we lost the contract.
Right.
Now, I approached them. I said, can we get compensation? They are ducking and diving. I went to a lawyer. We wrote a letter. Now, the problem is that our design was never registered.
Right. So have they taken your
other
design?
lawyers in Joburg, in Pretoria, they said, I need at least 400,000 to take a case.
Yes.
If I win, I will win a lot of money. If I lose, I'm going to lose 400,000. Is there something that I can do? Because each time you see a Cell C container, that's my design.
So, wow. Okay. Now, Danny, in issues of, intellectual property and things like that, I think, this is a very classical case of, how suing
happens.
For service should come in and help him.
Definitely. Look, again, I think Danny needs to help himself. I make this point over and over again because, who's going to help Danny? Me. I'm still trying to help myself.
Yes.
I've got my own issues to deal with here.
Sure.
So Danny has, there are different elements of service. Like if you think you're serving the consumer,
right,
you also got to serve your staff. Like internal management is your service, your human resources service. You've got to provide service to your shareholders. They're people who've invested in and made the money available for that business. But then you've got to be a service to the community as a whole. You've got to be of service to the global village. So companies need to be strategic. Now that's happening all over the place where intellectual capital is being stolen in grey areas. Now, I'm a consultant. I've been in my own business 17 years now. I've had the same, where a corporation, a bank calls me in, wants me at short notice. I go and present a proposal to them. They never get back to me, and then suddenly you see it's been implemented later on. So you learn. It's like, okay, if I put a proposal in, then 10% of that fee is applicable if the proposal isn't accepted.
So for Danny's case specifically, what kind of recourse does he have? He can't prove that those designs were originally his, but he knows for a fact that he did design them.
Yes.
And is it a case where he just has to make peace with the fact that
He might have to. I've had to make peace with certain things over the years as learning experiences, as school fees. But I don't make peace with things like that.
Right.
I might forgive it, but I never forget it because I'll remember that thing. Maybe it's because I'm a Scorpio, but I remember everything. I remember everything forever.
Right.
And it never goes away, and it will only go away when it's right. So Danny can learn from that. I would say to him, take your ideas bigger, because if you've got that feeling where, that idea might have been stolen because some new director came in and between one procurement boss and another one, his ideas fell between the cracks. Maybe it was stolen. You never know. It's very difficult to prove. So going down that path of trying to prove, to me, is pointless because Danny knows he's right.
Yes.
Danny's got the vision, the passion. So rather build that and then do clever things. Take Cell C on in another way. Say, look, this is it's his 50% of the story. It's his case. He can say it. Write about it in the media. Get it out there and challenge them to come back to him because he's appealing to them as decent human beings. That's all I'm doing here, saying, look, as decent human beings, we've got flaws, we've got weaknesses, we do things we regret, we make mistakes, but on the whole, we're good people trying to do things better. So let's liaise with each other in that way. And I think Danny can turn this around.
Vuyo in Worcester, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon, Kanye. How are you?
Very well, thank you, Vuyo.
Hi there, Vuyo.
Kanye, I want to thank you and that gentleman sitting next to you about the program. Recently, I had a problem with one of these big corporations. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to name them, but one of them was Old Mutual.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after making an appointment with these ladies, that is the receptionist and the clerks, they said I can come to the office. Remember that I have to travel about 100 kilometers before I get to their office. So the lady told me that the person I'm looking for is not in the office. He's out of the office.
So after traveling 100 kilometers, you went for nothing?
So then they tried to phone her on her cell phone. She couldn't answer her cell phone. I asked the lady, look, my policy lapsed, so I want to pay the... No, sorry. My policy didn't lapse. I was unemployed for some time, so I wanted to pay the outstanding amount on my policy.
Right.
So now they told me, no, my policy has already lapsed. I said, no, I already made an appointment with the lady. The lady understands the story. But still she phoned on the cell phone, still not available. So to make the whole situation easy for them, I said, look, your sister, give me the address of the CEO of Old Mutual.
A personal home address.
But
Yeah, but she told me that the CEO is in London. I said, it's okay, doesn't matter. Give me the address of the CEO, but they refused.
Okay. Vuyo, thank you very much. I see that your case is not yet resolved. Thank you for getting in touch with us. Let me just quickly take Annette before we cross to Natalie Jomanos. Annette in Vereeniging, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Hi, listen, thanks for a lovely program.
Thank you.
Hi, Annette.
I try never to miss it. I also have a problem with MTN. I mean, it doesn't want to go away. I've had it for 3 years. And like you said, you just got to keep at it.
Yes.
You know, it's sad, but you know, you just got to keep the wheels grinding. Otherwise,
Yes.
you're never going to get change.
Yes. It is sad, Annette, and that's what when I listen to Vuyo, I mean,
Thank you, Annette.
it's a heartbreaking story, and there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of them, of people like that, and but somehow, and I mean, it doesn't matter what level you're at in terms of, say, education or literacy or financial power. It's happening to all of us unless you sort of get into that sort of behind the scenes thing where you party to all the gains that people are making. It's almost like these businesses are built on, in my case with MTN, when I signed a new contract with them, their service was excellent until I had the new phone. But as soon as I needed follow-up service, now suddenly they're keeping me at arm's length.
28 minutes before 3 o'clock. Robin, I just want to read some SMSs that have come in. One saying, corporate gangsterism rules in South Africa. Even our minds are being looted daily by the Western mafia, and we call ourselves free because we can all ride the same bus. This one coming through from Jan. Another one saying, Kanye, I'm listening today with shock because all what this means is that the world is coming to an end. Lawyers are messing everything up. God help us all. It's tear out in KZN. One saying, hi, the biggest thugs are the banksters who foreclosure on people's homes. Let's see, via mere couple of thousands of rents with many properties securitized to foreign investors. I think that people are generally saying that they are losing the battle because corporates are big. And if you look at how capitalism works, I mean, someone was saying that the basic principle of a business is to make money. And so I suppose as long as they are meeting their basic objectives, we the people, where does that leave us?
Well, I think we're losing the battle because it's not our battle, it's theirs. They define the game, they define the playing fields, and obviously they're going to win. But if you want to win the battle, then you must redefine the game, and you must stand your ground as a human being and as an intelligent citizen. And just, you can't maybe speak for more people than yourself. You can't maybe pay other people to speak on your behalf, but you can speak for yourself. And that voice, that single voice, can very often be much more powerful than a corporate voice, because a single voice can speak the truth. It can come from a place of love and passion that a corporate voice could never do. A corporate voice, somebody's being paid to say something. There's a budget behind it. There's an agenda. It's political. The essence of humanity is much more powerful. So all of these things, what's actually happening in my experience is that all of these things that have been stealing from us over the hundreds of years, the banking model has left the world bankrupt. Europe has got that problem. America cannot even service the interest on its national deficit, and then it's telling everybody not to go into personal debt. It's the whole system is insane, really. And if you're feeling like you're living in a mad world, you are actually in touch with reality. And so what's crumbling are the things that no longer serve us. And that system, I'll talk about capitalism.
Can we live outside the system, though?
We have to create a new system that works. We can create a planet where, through science, all of our needs are taken care of. Things are managed carefully and in a way that pollution doesn't corrupt the planet. At the moment, all the big money makers, if you look at the Fortune top 100 companies, it's all money, insurance, fuel, energy, telecommunications. Those companies, in a way, that should be provided to humanity for free. We should all collaboratively be able to provide that infrastructure to ourselves essentially for free. Maybe a nominal cost for using things like phones and transport should be designed for us. So we shouldn't be doing jobs we hate to pay back interest on debt we used 3 months ago to feed our children. Because when are you going to self-actualize in that? You're an economic slave. You're a slave of consciousness. You're living according to the TV set.
Yes.
You think reality is what's presented to you by the media. Come up with your own reality. Look at the world through lucid eyes for yourself. And if you see everything crumbling like that, see that that's the old that's leaving. But don't feel hopeless. Engage the present moment and bring your own stand for a new way of living into being.
Let's go to Celine in Durban. Good afternoon, Celine.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. The gentleman that phoned in earlier with his problem with Old Mutual and the policy that lapsed, and wanting to phone the CEO. Now, this is a classic example of why CEOs are shielded from the public.
Yes.
Now, let me just tell you, let's just look at the flip side of the coin, and perhaps it's going to help the public in understanding when they're dealing with large corporations as well. Firstly, with his policy, if it's a new generation policy, it cannot be reinstated if the premiums haven't been paid for more than 2 months. New generation policies don't have an investment content to support the policy when premiums are not paid. They are pure risk policy, like motor car insurance now, right? So you don't pay a premium, the policy lapses. So hence, Vuyo, if it's a new generation policy, cannot reinstate the policy. If it's an old generation policy where it's used up all the cash values, then again you cannot reinstate it. You with me? Now, that is a purely an administrative issue that is dealt with at a clerical level in a large corporation. You cannot escalate that type of thing to the CEO. I mean, if he did that, he would spend his entire day dealing with
You'd be dealing with this thing called a customer. And let me say this to you with great passion. Even though the corporations have all sorts of logical ways of explaining why you're only dealing with a clerical level person for a clerical level problem, that brand has a lifetime relationship with me. When I buy certain appliances and put them in my kitchen, I see those every day for 10 to 15 years. The car I drive, the bank I bank with, that overall brand and I have a very intimate relationship. That CEO is responsible for that brand, and as a CEO of my own business, I speak to him directly at strategic level.
Yes.
I hold those people personally responsible for the brand relationship that we have. And if they say that they don't have time to see me, and I'm making time to see them, that is bad service. So that...
No, hold on. Yeah, just listen to me carefully, right? I hear what you say about the brand and the entire story, but you also have to deal with it at a practical level, okay? When you have a query that warrants the attention of the CEO and his management and all the people at the bottom cannot resolve it, yes, it must go to him. But the reason that you employ people at different levels is to deal with the practical day-to-day issues. If there's an absence of understanding, in the case of Mr. Vuyo's case, and you can understand that the policy cannot be reinstated, there is no way the CEO can deal with such a mundane issue that can be resolved at a lower level. It will apply to your company, SABC, or anybody. So there are two issues here. One is a question of understanding and dealing with issues that need to be dealt with by certain people within the organization. And secondly, the CEO, please understand, cannot deal with every single query that the public thinks or they feel needs to be escalated to that level.
I think, Celine, what the point that we're making here is that by the time you're so frustrated and you're actually demanding to see the CEO, it means that every step and every level along the way has failed you.
Yes, exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
But
I don't think...
Hold on.
Wait, Celine, I think you've made your point. You've made your point.
I mean, I'm sitting and listening.
Okay, Celine, you've made your point, but I don't think you're listening. The point we're making is that customer service at its best should not have to be escalated to the next level.
Yeah.
The person that you deal with, the person that you're assigned to deal with, should be able to help you comprehensively and solve your problem. And if that's not happening, it means there's a problem in the system. 0891-104-207, taking the last few callers. Sig in Randburg, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Kanye. I wanted to say that the owners of our mining companies, like Lonman, like Marikana, they aren't just overseas Western rapists of innocent black people. These are shareholders like Ramaphosa's running that company to a large extent, and they're trying to do their little bit to be decent. I don't think that Ramaphosa is an outright crook. Would you say that?
Well, I mean, it's not for me to say. My personal opinion doesn't count here. What do you think?
No, I don't think he is, and that is important for us to be aware of. And it's the shareholders in this country own more than half of Lonmin. I'm sure, I haven't counted it. I don't know the detail, but most of our major companies are owned at least halfway by our pensioners, and by. It's you that owns it. Your pension at SABC pays for the salaries and the stuff that Ramaphosa is responsible for, and you can demand the right things from them. And they are not raping the nation. Truly, they aren't. And so don't let's get ourselves all mixed up with stuff like that. The world isn't as bad as some of these people make it out to be. Thanks very much, eh?
Thank you very much. Let's go to Muzi in Durban. Hi, Muzi.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Muzi.
Yeah. No, I just want to say it's true that the CEOs are responsible for answering every question. But it doesn't mean that they themselves must answer, but the people that they appoint below them, they must be able to satisfy us as customers.
Yes.
So if I'm not satisfied by the general manager or the unit, whatever, I must go to the CEO. Anyway, he earns the profit. He earns the salary. He is representing the shareholders, and he must be able to answer. If he can answer to the shareholders, why can't he answer me? Because he is getting money from me as a customer.
Sure.
The gentleman who was talking, defending them from Durban.
Seelan, yes.
Yes, he's talking utter rubbish. I'm sorry to say that. It's utter rubbish. The CEO is the ultimate of the company. He's like the father and the mother in the house. If the child wants the answer, or if you want the answer as a father or a mother to the child, you are the ultimate. So we cannot keep on pushing the responsibility for us as customers. I always fight to the bitter end. I get what I want to get all the time.
Good
when
stuff.
I deal with the retailers and all that, I said, don't talk to me about the person who is in Cape Town. Sort it now.
Yes.
If you don't sort it now, I will make you to sort it, and they normally sort it.
All right, thank you very much. And in Orange Grove, good afternoon.
I don't think I have much time, but I just want to say it's too huge and too complicated. We can't, in fact, go to shareholders' meetings and all that. So I think he was right when he said we must change the system. Because, otherwise you're not going to get anywhere.
Thank you, Anne.
Okay.
Thank you, Anne. And just in closing, let me read some of the SMSs that have also come in here. Roland saying the whole point is that people dealing with customers aren't qualified to do so, but just want a job.
Yes.
So it's really just about a job. H saying that people are defined as corporates, aka Capitas Diminuto Maximus. Your name all in capitals is equal to slavery. We need to wake up to the fraud of our government. That's H. And I think that it's very clear that, the system is designed not to work in the favor of the customers, but to get from the customers what they want from the customers, which is our money.
But look, let's also, because there's a lot of emotion involved, and it's easy to, in the heat of emotion, to express one side of the argument very strongly, which I think we've tended to do here today. And I think Seelan's point about you've got to understand the whole system. I take that point because I work with CEOs. I've got my own business. I know how difficult some of these challenges can be. And I know very well what people are struggling with. It's not that they're just only arrogantly sitting there up in an inaccessible ivory tower. They're very real matters on all levels in terms of, say, skills in the labor force, all of that sort of strategic stuff. But the only way to solve these things is for each of us, as we've done here today, is to think it through for ourselves. And like Muzi said there, just stand for what you really believe in. Sure, you can have made mistakes along the way and be human. Sure, you might get very emotional and do things you regret, but go through those barriers and reach out to that other person on the other side, because we're all brothers and sisters, we're all human beings.
Absolutely.
We're all trying to survive, and so it might be around certain mechanisms of trade, but actually we're all just trying to come together as a human race. And I think service is a barrier to that, and it's also an opportunity for us to get it right.
Robin Wheeler, thank you so much for joining us and talking about issues of service. And let's talk about how people can connect with you, needing motivation to stand and just basically wanting to bounce things off you.
Okay. I've got, you can follow me on Twitter. It's @RobinBeing. Being is the word in my business name, Be Entrepreneuring.
Robin, B-R-O-B-I-N, not Y-N.
That's right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
B-I-N, and then being, straight through. So being is kind of a word that's synonymous with my brand, being yourself for a living.
Right.
That's something that comes up for me all the time. @RobinBeing on Twitter, and then my website's beentrepreneuring.com, or you can look me up on Facebook, Robin Wheeler. And wherever I've got a chance, I'll stay in touch. I'm a CEO myself.
So you're a CEO
now
yourself.
Making excuses, just being funny. But
let me just read the website, www.BENTREPRENEURING.com.
It's a bit of a tongue twister, but it's really entrepreneuring with a B in front.
Okay.
I always say, once you get it, you never forget it. But it sounds...
Entrepreneuring with a B in front.
Yes, but I'm a professional speaker on the circuit. All the speaking agents can book me if you want to book me for your conferences. So you'll find one way of staying in touch.
And I see you also have a blog here, www.suingforservice.blogspot.com.
Yes, you can follow that, because all of the cases, as I've said to you, the three, as you pointed out there, the three things that it's about of correcting bad service.
Yes.
So it's actual cases of how I've had bad service and what I'm doing to fix it. And the second thing is to mobilize and galvanize consumers, which is what we've been doing here today on the show, is to just help people see that what they're feeling is real and that there's a way that they can make a difference. And then the third thing is to focus on good examples, because I have my regular restaurants I go to every day are great examples of service, of people doing their businesses with love, dealing with staff issues, dealing with all the circumstantial issues that we have, but getting it right. Yes. There's a lot of right happening out there. There's a lot of good happening, but there's a lot of frustration too, and we need to, keeping a lid on that frustration doesn't serve us. We need to shift it and make it work for us.
Wonderful. Robin, thank you very much for joining us on SAFM. Remember, if you'd like to connect with us on Twitter, you can do so on @SAFM Radio, @SAFM Radio. That is our Twitter handle if you'd like to leave a comment on any of the issues that we are discussing. And if you'd like to connect with me, I'm also on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Khanyi_Makubane, Khanyi_Makubane. Now, we've done quite a lot of talking. I think it's time for a bit of a musical break. Here's Mark Belling with The Moment. With The Moment. With The Moment. With The Moment. With The Moment.